So now I think it's time to talk about World of Warcraft, the World Soul Saga, but in detail this time.
But in I thought you said but on retail.
No.
I was like, wait, hang on. Do they get this for a private server as well? Oh my god, Ascension are cooking way harder than I thought. What?
They definitely did. So, BlizzCon crowd awoke from a great slumber, etc., etc., etc. But yes, Metzin's epic return.
Yes, so overall then, it was pretty good. I did see some criticism of this. I feel like the best way to do this would have been to do an announcement of War Within without Metzin at the start. And then to pull and one more thing. And then you wheel Chris out. But the way that they did it was basically like, hello, we're going to have a very long BlizzCon where we talk about some things. Because that was a long opening ceremony. And they talked about things.
We were using a lot of words that I can't repeat on stream to describe exactly how it felt.
Oh, you guys were like, it's so ogre.
No, we weren't literally saying that. But it was very, what is happening here? Why is this taking so long? Why do I feel like...
Yeah, literally wheel him out. Yeah, he's like, those things you use to move a parcel.
Yeah. Why do you feel like you're taking so long to get any number of analogy? But I think I don't know how you guys felt watching it, but like, was it someone there said they missed Metzin on stage? Yeah, Dreamfiller said, God, I missed that man on that stage. That was so different. His ability as like a storyteller and as stage presence is absolutely like, I'm not going to say it's like unparalleled, but as far as a gaming executive or something close to it goes, I don't think there's anyone in the industry who's better.
Yeah.
For just going on stage and talking to you like he's DMing a campaign for you. That's what it felt like. He just stepped up. I just started shouting. Everyone's like, there was this shot of someone. I think it was exact. It was it when he said for the Alliance? I think, or was it the What's Up BlizzCon? I think it was whenever he basically counted you to 1, 2, 3 What's Up BlizzCon, and there was a shot of someone in the crowd, and it looked like they had just had the greatest moment of their entire lives. And I just like, I could see that. Todd Hart was pretty good at it, but he wasn't like Todd Hart doesn't have like the shouting energy, doesn't have the is this a front man for a metal band or is this a game developer? So it's like the Thrall hype kind of just worked.
Yeah,
Thrall hype kind of worked and sold all of this, because I imagine if you imagine like a back and forth between, and nothing against Ian, because Ian was great, but
there's a difference between like living legend and living meme.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Todd.
Yeah. So like there's a difference between, actually, yeah, that's exactly it. Metzin's the only nerd on stage that feels genuine. Watching everyone else mildly related to video games is oftentimes painful. And I think
in their case it's just that's like, oh, this is different from a work presentation. And another thing which I think a lot of people, in fairness, like, it's not something you normally think about. You can get someone who's like a pretty good actor. You can give them a teleprompter and watch them absolutely be boring as fuck. Right? Like actually speaking on a prompter, that is a real skill that takes years. So Metzin has got the most experience. He also, does have like, whatever, big energy. I think with Metzin, there's probably a degree of like, Jesus takes the wheel. And, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back from the stage. He's like, I don't remember a thing I said. Probably, right? Whereas if you're worried about it and you're newer to a prompter, not only are you doing something where the prompter is all the way over there, all those people, but like, that's really challenging. So I think that's why it's hard, broadly to like meet the energy of a Metzin. I think as an example, like, Ian did a really good job of that. Actually, Taryn did a really great job of that too.
That's the thing I find really different about this BlizzCon versus like all the other panels is that energy on the stage that you saw from everyone. Now, obviously, like opening the ceremony, Ibarra was a little bit more toned down. Not bad. I don't think Ibarra's like the greatest for that like stage presence. I know like Holly's pretty. Dude's
experience has been like a games executive.
Yeah,
it was the same with like Morheim. Like Morheim never brought the thunder. It was just that he was likable. People were like, oh look, it's Mike.
Yeah, and like Holly's pretty subdued, just not a super like energetic person for like shouting and stuff, but she does a good job too. But it was Ian and Taryn specifically that I was really impressed by. Ian during that deep dive, he was cracking jokes and they're clearly off the top of his head. And you could see him like laugh and smile, and like people in the audience were shouting stuff, and he was like obviously noticing it and kind of ignoring it or like taking it on the chin and stuff like that.
There's people who saw the prompter with Metz, and I was just going up and down, up and down, up and down, because like he was 70% on prompter.
Yeah, yeah. That's I don't think I could do a stage show with a prompter. I could ad lib all day long if I had the points in my head, but a prompter would throw me off too much. But I think like all that was really like good. But the point is that it was
he had brought some smooth energy though. He was just like, hey, I've got a cool t-shirt and I'm gonna blow your mind.
Basically yeah. So I think a lot of it is that Metzin's explaining of the World Soul Saga was different than anyone else could have done. And I think that like a world where Ian had introduced this, I don't think would have been as excited. And that's no harm to Ian. It's literally just this big story stuff. Or, Morgan Day or Maria or...
and so much of that is like fundamentally impossible because they are not people who have been there for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Like I think actually so much of this is just Metzen has been there for a very long time. So it's not that they are inauthentic. I think they are all very authentic. It's that he is the most authentic because...
He's the extrovert, like, basically.
See,
that's simplifying it, but you know what I mean. You know what I actually.
Yeah, mean. Yeah. He's the one that like goes back the furthest, I suppose.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's the part of this that I thought was like maybe the most important of it all, more important than anything they actually announced. But at the same time, it was properly okay. What did he say, and what did he mean by it?
What the hell has Magni actually been babbling about all these years?
Yeah.
Was the thing that he came to warn us about in BFA, did it actually play out? Or is there potentially something darker looming in the horizon? I don't know.
With the Black Empire in the background, sweet, fine. Absolutely.
I think it's pretty simple. I don't know. I think Xalatath might think she's working for herself, but I think that it is part of a plan that N'Zoth is aware of.
I hope that's not true, because
Confirmation of timelines.
No, I honestly, this is going to sound insane for me. I'll give a little bit of an explanation. So when he goes here and he says, some of the early mythic ideas that established the background of Warcraft, and he goes through about an apocalyptic confrontation, and where was it at? There was a storyline that in every way feels like the culmination of the first 20 years of storytelling. I can't remember where it is. He basically talked about like all of the unfinished stuff, right? So to me, seeing a wider plan, a larger plan, 3 expansions of, hey, we've got the idea, I find it so hard to care about the details now, because I'm just like, I trust them to take the wheel now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I trust you to do something simple and like just run ahead with it, pull all these threads together in a way that's simple and understandable, because complexity is where World of Warcraft's kind of tripped up a lot of the time. They try to have too many ideas and they don't finish them all half well.
Yeah.
So I can So I can see the exact opposite of that being the case of what's the crack? Xalatath kills all the gets all the blood of the old gods to revive them, but take control, and then we do something with that.
Oh, great.
Like just super simple obvious
Give it all.
Stuff.
Give Xalatath all the power.
Yeah.
Give Yrel all the power. Then have them hook up. $1 trillion idea. All the money in the universe.
Absolutely. So Scheherazade and Brandon say about the Noble, she's a fragment of Azeroth theory. I think Noble may have left that take in the oven for a few days too long.
Oh, okay. Actually, it's really bad because he tweeted it too, or he like DM'd me on Twitter, was like, dude, what if it's this? And then I was like going onto the airplane. So it's as if right now on Twitter, actually, I will go and say, I was just boarding my plane. Sorry. That's insane. I love it. It does just look like he was like, hey, here's my theory. And I'm just like,
my theory.
I will no longer speak to you. I can't believe you said this.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I haven't actually watched the video, so there could be a lot of stuff there.
Because like the thing people, I don't want to say forget, but like Nobble's going to come in there with that encyclopedic knowledge of like the detail, you know, and like the specific words, the specific phrases, the specific references.
Yeah, so the only reason I don't think that is because Xal'atath and Illyria are pointed up as antagonists to each other, and Illyria's point being controlling the void, Xal'atath being more more occult in nature, a little bit more of that ancient Lovecraftian kind of stuff going on. Because obviously she's got the cosmic thing going on, but like you can look from the way she is dressed and like the tattoos and stuff like that. There is very much we're going to gather blood and sacrifice stuff, and there's evolved these spiders using like dark magic.
Can't wait.
So there's stuff like that I think, but Illyria having the different visions implies to me that Illyria is getting visions or communication from a darker aspect of Azeroth that isn't Xal'atath. Basically, I think the void infiltration in Azeroth may have been slightly successful in the sense of building an overall balanced cosmic version of Azeroth that's all the forces combined, because she's been touched by all of them in different places. So I imagine that to be Illyria being in touch with the void side of Azeroth, so the void side of Azeroth can't be Xal'atath. That was a little bit of a side bar, but I was also thinking about it when me and Jared were recording Lore Walking yesterday. On specifically that. She looks like old Morgana from League of Legends. She does, Vinny, actually. That's a good point. That's a good point. And yeah, she's going full Dry Matriarch. Nice. So that's good. Yeah. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? I don't trust you.
So I was like, so that's good. I'm like, he's holding something in.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Who knows?
Sometimes I just say things to buy time to think the other thing. No, I don't think again. But yeah.
That's it. He means nothing by it, folks.
No, I don't mean... If I mean something, I say it, okay?
So, will there eventually be an apocalyptic confrontation between the forces of the light and the void? Brackets. It's going to happen.
Yes, then. Sweet.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Cheers, Chris.
Yeah.
And the really big question for all the marbles: what have the Titans been doing since the dawn of civilization? What is the purpose of all their cute little installations slammed into the side of the planet? Do we know everything we need to know about their real intentions for the world? This is like the bit that I want to... Okay, I'll do this quick because we'll probably do it later. And I don't want to like give everyone at Everember dementia when they try to cut this.
Oh, that's what I try to with every stream.
That would be it. There's a lot of people who are like, Titans are always good. Can't believe they made them bad. Number one.
Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah, see, that's the bit. I'm like, okay, so all the WoW boomers are here saying like the Titans were always good, and I'm thinking like, I'm also a WoW boomer. Have they forgotten Algalon? Algalon was very clear. You know the bit where Algalon's dialogue is like, I have destroyed countless civilizations, billions of trillions of lives. Like, and the way it's like, you know, without emotion, without blah, 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 blah. Okay, it turns out we are just so gigapog that we, you know, prove to him. He's like, well, shit. You know, we made him try to do the square root of 0 and he let us live because we're so cool. But it has been canonical that the Titan forces have destroyed a lot of shit. It's very canonical that that's happened. And like, it's been like that since Wrath. They were never like our good gods that we wanted to come back because, oh, yay, they're back. It was always just a mystery of like, you know, founders, builders. But it was never that explicit.
They were mysterious. They were the creation myth. And creation myth is inherently good because creation's a good thing. Right? Because you compare it to the vast majority of religion, and it is, well, God made us, so it must be good in some capacity. Obviously, you look at the Titans in Greek myth, you look at like the gods of Olympus, and obviously they have problems too. Obviously, they have a lot of dark sides to them. But the thing about the Titans is that they went from neutral, assumed good to obviously neutral and uncaring. And the point was that we were substantially more important than whatever occurred and gave us immortality. The whole point of Ulduar was the curse of flesh and us having mortality made us special, made us different. And that's a theme they've been running for like ever, more or less. Not always super obvious, but people were kind of stuck in the original idea that, oh yeah, well, Titan's good because they're God. And then the Legion, they were obviously allied to us in stopping Sargeras, which completely makes sense. So I think there's a little bit of that to carry on with.
Famously good guys, Greek gods and Titans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Famously swell, very happy.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a little bit of a maybe people had preconceived notions and they didn't pay enough attention to the lore to really dismantle those. I think maybe is a lot of it, but I think a lot of people kind of know, yeah, Titans they made stuff, but they have problems. I think largely, I think people have understood that for a long time. So them being different and coming up is like, oh, well, they aren't evil, but they oppose us. Does that make them evil in our eyes? And the answer is obviously yes, because they want something we don't want. We're operating in our self-interest, and by our prescribed values and moral code, we are good. So if the Titans say, actually, we're going to kill you because you're in our way, then we go, well, you must be evil because we're good. Because, the ego dictates you're good in a lot of cases, especially in society. So I think that always makes sense. I think that completely makes sense, like a path to go.
Let's quickly gloss over the other expansions. In this chapter, Midnight, you'll be returning to the old world, the fabled lands of Quel'Thalas. There, the forces of Void have invaded Azeroth, intent of snuffing out the light of the Sunwell and plunging the world into darkness and fear. You will unify scattered elven tribes of Azeroth and make a stand with the forces of light and banish the shadow forever. So that's the kind of big thing. This seemingly is the big lighty voidy expansion. But
what do you mean seemingly? He literally says it.
Yes, it literally is the big lighty voidy expansion. And I think that is somewhat relevant because it is happening in a revamp of an old world place. By which I mean, for so long people are like, don't want Cosmic, don't do that. And, to people, if we went truly into the far-flung universe and, another land's shadow, whatever.
We're not going to Zarathumbre.
Zarathumbre.
At least if we are, it'll be a patch zone, not the launch zone.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's fine. That's also what Shadowlands is. I think, right, if this was happening again now, I would say, and obviously they can't do a, Northrend revamp every time they want to go to Northrend, but you imagine a Shadowlands that is handled like the last Titan, where, actually, no, how about this? You make it so that the core zones are all the places where the undead have been very relevant in World of Warcraft, from Darkshire to the Plaguelands to Northrend, right? And, you kind of spruce them all up. And actually going into the Shadowlands is like the final patch. Crazy big Argus-style blowout.
Yeah, the Argus thing. Yeah.
That would have been a really good way to do the Shadowlands.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. My point is over. So, there's that. Quel'Thalas, very awesome. Now, he says, of course, it's Azeroth. Things may not go to plan. Things may spiral wildly out of control. So that probably means it's not going to be we've taken out the void and the light's happy and everything's good. Who knows? Maybe Yrel finally decides to trot through that portal. Then we have the last Titan, where we go back to the old world again to Northrend. At Ulduar, we bear witness to the return of the Titans, uncover a vast conspiracy that stretches out the history of the world that will challenge everything you think you know about the Titans, their intentions, and the true nature of Azeroth itself. I don't think Azeroth is a Titan. I think what happened is, right? A Titan is what happens when the Titans get to a world soul and wake it up as a Titan. I basically think Azeroth is an Eevee. Like an Eevee in Pokemon. It can turn into all the different, things that an Eevee can turn into. I think that's a kind of easy way to think about it. It's like this this humongous, raw, energy thing. And I think, I've sort of thought this for a while, but that's basically it. I think we can think of Azeroth as an Eevee, and I think the whole sort of core thing will be a rejection of all these motherfuckers who want to come in here and fuck up our shit.
Something Vaporeon reference. Anyway, I'll let that one go for people in chat.
Damn, there you go. Some Rule 34 that I'm probably not aware of. Incredible. I just assumed it was Rule 34. Who knows?
So, Potentially, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Never mind.
Because, well, okay, there's two possibilities. The possibility of Evie being like a malleable, as Laura walking up over the weekend, where we called her clay that could be molded. There's a possibility that she's actually the final, a first one, the last first one, a new first one, or you know the way the first one's made a load of shit, and all of these different parts are like around her, and there's the Zereth Umbus and the Umbra and the Mortis, and all these. I imagined it as Azeroth as the sun in the center of a cosmic solar system, where she's actually the most important and most powerful, and a combination of all of the forces together by design as to basically cosmic ley lines. She's not clay to be molded or an Eevee to be evolved. She's actually a thing that's got everything in it.
Yeah.
Already by virtue of what's going on. That's what I was thinking, but fundamentally the point still stands that Azeroth is whatever the like ethereal feminine voice that belongs to Azeroth is the most important thing. The most important thing of all times.